Liverpool United. I just came here to actually put smiles on my face because Arsenal is just big
Yeah, you're late. We already cried the cry, and we have moved on. And
They literally said, Choma, are you feeling well?
Choma, Anfield, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 2. Ubum, I don't know if you okay, let me start with Ebenezer. Did you watch that game? What did you make of that game today? Was a rival fan?
I would.
Sorry?
Right?
Wasn't it 1-0?
Yeah, I thought it was 1-0.
Yeah, 1-1. Yeah, sorry.
I didn't watch the game, but I kind of had a feeling coming off of such a devastating loss in the Europa League at home that it would be difficult for Liverpool to kind of shake that off and come into the match with Crystal Palace. Now, I wasn't expecting them, if I'm being honest, to lose. I thought maybe they'd kind of stick with the draw per se, but you mentioned between the two teams, Liverpool and Arsenal, watching the game that Arsenal had today and seeing how Liverpool played against Atalanta. If there's one team that I have to bet on coming through and winning the title, I would say it's Arsenal, to be honest. I think Liverpool are looking gassed. Jota coming back, you thought that would kind of add a lifeline to Liverpool. But I just think they're very mentally shaken from that loss against Atalanta. I think that's the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool, is that Arsenal didn't lose against Bayern, right? Like, we were able to track back and get the point. I mean, just get the draw per se. Have that mentality to come back into the game. Now, everybody loses. Any good team will lose. And that happened today with Arsenal and Aston Villa. And I think it wasn't a bad game for Arsenal. It just wasn't their best. But I think today's result against Crystal Palace was kind of the icing on the cake for me. I don't think Liverpool are going to really bounce back from this per se. They're gonna enter that slump of form that hit Arsenal last year, where they're just really shaken up and kind of lose that belief. Because when you think about it, right, Klopp is leaving soon. There was kind of that armor of, oh, we got to do this for Klopp. We got to do this for Klopp. But maybe in that dressing room, things are starting to look a little grim. I also heard that Van Dijk might be leaving this after this season as well. So there are just a lot of factors now kind of hitting Liverpool left and right. And it's hard to kind of keep that, motivation.
Talking about Van Dijk, right? I was going to ask Ugo. Especially in the first half of that game, I don't know if you watched it, but
no, I didn't watch it.
Liverpool defending was very, very lazy in the eye. Crystal Palace were walking through that defense like nobody was there. In fact, if Crystal Palace were clinical, just like Arsenal, they would have been like 4 goals up at the end of the first half. And if you remember, we did a preview of the Big Six teams in EPL before the season started. And we checked what they did in the summer, the recruitment, what they did the season before, and what we expect them to do going into the season. I remember very well I mentioned that Liverpool, for me, don't have a balanced squad. Defensively and in the DM position, I don't think they're strong enough to go the long haul. And for me, so far, they have even done more than I expected them to do. So from that preface, talk to us, the defending today and Liverpool as a team, what do you make of their that spine? Van Dijk looks like he's tired, he's gassed, like Ebenezer mentioned.
Reggie, I'll give you a lot of credit for. You've been steadfast in your assertion that you don't think Liverpool are the contenders that they have been. You don't think that they will sustain contending for the league because of the imbalance. You said this from day one, and you've stuck to it. I was the opinion that Liverpool, especially with Klopp in charge, and the way he's been able to incorporate youth team players to blend with the guys you already had. I felt they had enough to sustain a title charge. But today, it was clear that there's a problem at Liverpool, especially in the area you mentioned, that defensive midfield going on defense position. Bradley, their right full back, that has been excellent for them since January, got injured today, which had made them bring in Trent Arnold, to come right back after injuries. That's going to be a problem because Bradley has been a great outlet for them. I don't know whether Trent is up to speed.
He's fully fit.
Yes, up to speed for this running because every game, like you say, is a championship right now, even in Europe and in the league. So it depends on how soon Trent can come up to speed. But yeah, you rightly mentioned if Ebere was a bit more clinical and maybe I dare say a bit more serious with putting pressure on the defense, he could have gotten away with a hat-trick today, Olise as well. Now, what I saw today that bothered me for Liverpool fans is the Endo, the Japanese guy that they bought. He's big on industry, but quite low on actual quality and substance with the ball. You know, the guy has a boundless energy running all over the place. But when he had the ball, he didn't use the ball properly. He didn't occupy the right spaces. He didn't really do his job well, apart from just being present and running all over the place. So yeah, they're struggling in that defensive midfield position. I think, from what we saw today, looks like also mentally that fatigue is setting in. The pressure of, sending Klopp off at the highest level is getting to them as well. So yeah, let's see how they recover against Atlanta midweek.
Stefan, right quick. Darwin Núñez. If you're Klopp, will you still be playing him?
I'm sorry?
If you're Klopp, will you still be starting this guy, or hoping on him to give you 3 points in a game?
So here's the thing, right? Liverpool has been struggling with a lot of injuries. Jota has been injured. Alexander-Arnold was injured. Konate was injured for a while. With that being said, I feel that Núñez is one of those players that he's still on the field because they don't have a lot of other options. But you can tell that this is a player that has quality, right? It's just not clicking for him. I think this season he has hit the bar like 9 times.
No, like 200. No, not reach 9. It's over 200, bro.
There you go.
He has the worst conversion rate out of any striker.
But it's not just this season. Even last season was the same. Last season they said it was his first season. Give him time. This is the second season.
Yeah.
The same thing is still happening.
Well, the thing is he like combined, he has 31 goals and assists across all competitions. So he's a good member of the team and he provides a lot going forward, even if he doesn't score. But he has the worst conversion rate out of any striker.
Yeah, at the top level,
that's crazy.
The difference is that there are fine margins. If Darwin Núñez has converted 1/4 of his chances this season, Liverpool will be like 6 or 7 points clear on top.
Yeah,
I still think he has an opportunity with that team, right?
Okay.
It's one of those things where once the floodgates open, I feel that he's going to just start scoring a buttload of goals. But his decision making sometimes makes me wonder. Like for example, today there were 1 or 2 chances where I thought he should have played a square ball, and he tried to go at the post. No matter how acute that angle was, he tried to score the goal. But then again, you're talking to a United fan. It's not like I see we've been doing very well.
Let me touch base with you. Let's bring Klopp into this. I've been saying this now, crying like a broken record, like 5 or 6 weeks behind, that Liverpool, since Klopp announced his exit, jettisoning their philosophy, they just come to the field, put in the shift, just try to win at all costs, from back to front. There's no philosophy. Like Chaba, you mentioned about Arsenal, that Arsenal still stuck with their philosophy, their identity, the way they play football, and they've been getting results. But Liverpool, for me, in the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks, they just come and try to overrun opponents one way or the other by sheer unwavering effort by Ruben Diaz or Salah's ingenuity. Somehow they scrap a goal, they win games. So is this supposed to be a club issue, or do you think the players on their own are just trying too much to win for the coach?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think Klopp at this point has nothing to lose. You know, he has a legacy he has built in the Premier League. No one is going to take away from him. So he's already made that bet. So he's going to enjoy it. I think he's just tinkering at this point with what he has. On the other end, I also think the players too are trying too hard to send him off on a fairy tale. And then to say, okay, yeah, we won this, we did that, and they start throwing caution to the wind. I have to go with you on the original thought of, to be honest, I don't see how Liverpool are still up here, you know, but they've been very fortunate too going forward, you know, with that other people have chipped in and done what they need to do. Their defense, I don't think, is much to write home about. But tactically, I just feel like everyone is trying to do, the players are trying to send Klopp off on a high note. And then Klopp on his own is also trying to do something he's never done before, knowing full well he's not going to be here to suffer the consequences next season. Either way, I still think that they've adapted as well as they possibly can as a team, given all the injuries that they've suffered with and everything. They've adapted, so you have to give credit to them, you know. But as far as like them just doing whatever they want at this point, I think it's a mix of just the players trying to do too much, honestly, and Klopp just trying to experiment at this point, because it's really nothing for him to lose anymore at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that came out and said that he's leaving because he has run out of ideas?
No, he was joking. No, he was joking. They asked him. He was how this press people, media people ask some kind of question. Yeah, he told the guy, okay, yeah, that's why I'm leaving. It's not like he just said it. It was just a rhetoric from a question he was
being sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly. He was asked. And he said, yeah, he was running out of ideas. Let me touch base with you. If you're a Liverpool fan, looking at what Arsenal is doing, looking at what we are City are at the moment, and looking at the Liverpool, from what we have just analyzed here, and how that team is not balanced, and it looks like some of their key players are getting to the twilight of their career. Salah, for me, cannot get any better. If anything, by next season, he's going to leave. You see Van Dijk, I heard I believe I say that he's going to leave this. I don't know. I've not heard that before, which is a possibility. And even if he stays, it doesn't look like he's going to do anything better than what we see this season. I ain't going to be worried that probably after City, if Pep leaves, Arsenal might be ahead of Liverpool in a few years, you know, coming from now. What do you think Liverpool should do to stay where they are?
If I were a Liverpool fan, I'd be worried. I believe that both clubs and national teams, there are trends. Sometimes you hit the right spot with a generation of players. Let me not say a collection of players that will keep you at the top, winning at the top, because winning is very difficult, right? Competing at the top, winning trophies here and there. If you are lucky and you have it with the right coach, enjoy it, because it doesn't last forever, right? A team like Barcelona, for example, that were used to perennial success over the last 2 or 3 seasons, they've struggled. They've lost to opponents that they never thought they could ever lose to, right? So I'm looking at this Liverpool. If you check the body of work that Klopp put in with Liverpool, for all the credit that they are getting, they kind of underachieved to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Mainly because of that man called Pep Guardiola and the brilliant setup at City that kept getting better and better and better. So with those collection of players, that it's now time for many of them to move, and the coach that helped them compete is leaving, I'd be worried, right? So I'm praying and hoping that Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan, we can hit that spot of getting at least one EPL trophy or one European trophy, that helps you, keeps you on the trajectory where you can try to win more. Because if you lose it, it takes a while to get it back. Either you don't have the right coach, or you don't have the right setup behind him, or you don't have the right collection of players. 2 or 3, there's always a gap here or there, and you keep underachieving and underachieving, and you never get to where you want to be. So if you take the history of winners, you will see that that's what happens. So I'm worried for Liverpool for several reasons. Their golden generation, so to speak, haven't won enough of what they were supposed to win when they were at the top. But now, hey, they're going to lose quite a bit of that. So it would take a different level of brilliance to get the right coaching, number one, and then get the right players to keep them at that top competing. Because anytime from now, Pep may say, hey, man, just like Klopp, I'm tired of this. Let me look for something else to do. He leaves City, and then there's a gap there for whoever is prepared to step in and take over.
Yeah, I heard that he already said that he's going to leave at the end of next season. So,
yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, other teams, Arsenal, that's why I'm a little bit hopeful for Arsenal. If Ateta continues what he's doing, there's a chance for him to dominate at least for 1 or 2 seasons before Manchester United and Chelsea get their ass together. So, but looking at Alexander Isak, if you're a Liverpool, will you go all out, seeing what Nunes is doing? Will you sell Nunes and bring in Isak, or will you keep faith with Nunes?
I mean, considering how much they spent on Nunez, you have very little choice than to keep faith with him, right? Because once again, you see flashes. You see that there's potential there. When you look at the build of both of them, they look very similar. Tall, lanky, very good in the air, very good with their feet. It's just Isak is firing right now. When he first came to Newcastle, he wasn't firing.
Actually,
other veteran,
No, he was, but he was injured most of his first season.
He had, I believe, 11 and 22. So,
yeah, but he was just injured a lot of the times.
Okay. Yeah, but I remember Callum Wilson was one that was actually the top striker for
because
Newcastle.
He came injured. When they signed him, he was injured. So he didn't play for weeks, so it took him time to get into the team.
Yeah.
Okay, but with that being said, I would still stick with Nunez, right? Because once again, I see when you look at someone that keeps hitting the bar, it's just a matter of inches, an inch to the left, an inch to the right, at each bottom, and he's scoring these goals, right? So it's only a matter of time before maybe the new manager. I was actually talking to my mentor today, and we're talking about how unlucky Nunez has been since he came to Liverpool. And now that Klopp has said that he's leaving, maybe the new manager is going to come and unleash the beast that we all know Nunez is going to be. I mean, look how good he was when he was with was it Benfica before he came to Liverpool. It was actually a Champions League game that he played against Liverpool, and despite the fact that Liverpool beat them, he personally punished Liverpool with 2 goals or so. So the guy does have the talents. It's just not working out right now. Okay. I would stick with him if I were a Liverpool manager.
Okay, I hear you. Oh, amazing. So Ugo mentioned something earlier on a few minutes ago. It takes a few things to come together. The right coach, set up behind the coach, right players, the fans believe everything comes together and you push, which is what we have seen that happened last time, the last 2-3 seasons. Ateta seemed to have the right people behind him, the management up top believe in him, the players believe what he's telling them, everybody's performance is looking like they're moving forward. Right now, let's assume Liverpool, just hypothetically go out there and get a very good coach who understands how Liverpool plays and is a right fit for them, and the owners are willing to, and they have the FFP space within their financials to buy maybe 3 or 4 players to plug the gaps that are being left in the team. Where do you think Liverpool needs to strengthen, or who do they need to drop off of the first 11?
I still think they haven't found a good replacement for Sadio Mane, who left last season. Because a lot of what I believe that Liverpool enjoyed happened when Sadio Mane was firing on all cylinders. And ever since he left, that void has been there. And I still don't think they filled that void yet. Salah, like Ogun mentioned, has been on the decline. Even though he's scoring goals, but he's not affecting teams as well. So I would say, more than anything else, I think they really need to fix their forward positions, especially in those two positions where Salah is right now. I mean, I would just bring in somebody who would take the game by the scruff of his neck like Salah would, and probably put Salah to the bench, and maybe bring another side, a Sadio Mane, somebody who affects the team. Because if you notice, they've not been the same since they lost that front three of theirs: Firmino, Sadio Mane, and what's his name, Salah.
Mm-hmm.
You only have Salah remaining right now, but the other two are gone, and they were scoring freely. So that gives us an idea that might be a position. Those might be positions that they might be looking to strengthen, right? And again, with defensive midfield as well. Endo's good and everything, but I don't really think that he's clinical when it comes to making those decisive passes. So it's just like they're going forward. There's some hesitation in the way they play.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that would be something that I would say for them to fix.
Okay.
By the time the next season rolls around, they're forwards.
I believe that good teams, like Ugo mentioned, teams like City, even now, I think I even mentioned it the last time it was being interviewed, I think Edu also, by now already have an idea what they're going to do in the summer. Sometimes they've even already agreed deals that they're going to do in the summer to strengthen their squad. If you were to play that role for Liverpool, what business will you focus on getting done in the summer?
I think for starters, I would actually disagree with the notion that Mane and Firmino have been irreplaceable, because Luis Diaz is a monster. I mean, that guy is
his end product though.
I think that can be honed, because I mean, Firmino was a good finisher, but he didn't have high numbers like we really think he did. And Mane either. I mean, Salah was always pretty much the top scorer in the league. Mane had like 1 or 2 seasons where I think he hit 20 goals and assists. But other than that, it was kind of in the 10 ranges, high 10s. I think Jota, once he's back in full fitness, he can do the job nicely, as well as Diaz. Maybe bring in a backup winger that would be able to play on both sides. I think the defensive midfield area is definitely something to work on. Endo seemed like he had written off the critics initially, but there's starting to be those little cracks in his game that ultimately could be replaced with a higher quality player. So I would say start off by bringing in maybe even a Kimmich, in the defensive midfield role per se, not as a right back. I think he might really play well in this Liverpool team. I would definitely say they need a backup center back that could play out from the back, as well as Van Dijk and Konate perhaps, and somebody on that right back position. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold, even actually, maybe converting him to just an out-and-out defensive midfielder might suit him better, and then look for somebody that can kind of fight for that position with Connor Bradley, because I think Alexander-Arnold is a lot like Zinchenko in the sense that they are so bad at defending. So those are probably the weakest points as far as the Liverpool team. I think Darwin Nunez is like a stock, right? At first you put in your money and your investment, and the investment's not hitting at first, but it will eventually. I mean, he had his first season struggles at Benfica, and then he fired off the second season. I'd say he has been doing a lot better for Liverpool this season, but against that end product and kind of, I guess, that confidence factor. But if you look at his stats, like I said, 31 goals and assists across all competitions. The numbers don't lie. Yeah, it's not. It
Yeah,
really
so,
is.
yeah, Shaba, you guys want to scout for Liverpool? What will you do if you're asked to do, help the team sustain, the challenge or be where they are next season?
I'm very worried about Nunes. I listened to what you guys said. And what Shaba said has been my position up until recently. My position is that with the way that guy creates chances, the number of chances he gets, that at the point is going to click. And once it clicks, it will be a deluge. But check it out. It's been 3 seasons now. There are some chances that the guy misses that I want to scratch my no hair off. How can this guy possibly miss this kind of chance? I get frustrated with Jesus over those kind of things every now and then. But Nunes is in a different level.
Has it been 3 seasons or 2 seasons?
2. It's been 2.
It's been 2, right?
It's okay. 23.
So I want to hope that at some point, they will involve. I think it's a bit of a psychiatric issue now, the mental issue.
Do you think it has anything to do with his? Do you think it has anything to do with his price tag?
No. That one has gone. I thought the first season you should forget about that and get on the job. I think he's for me. If you're staying on, I know you have not finished your response to the buying of player. For me, staying on Nunes, I think there are some players are not just finishers. Some players are like that, or maybe Klopp is not working hard, off camera to improve in that area. If you remember, Salah was like that before, and Salah worked on stuff like that. Only working. They asked him today about it, and he said, that he wasn't this clinical before. Having Emi Martinez, he had to sometimes go ask Martinez, how do I beat a keeper in these scenarios? And the guys, he spoke to him and he started working on it. So maybe he's just trusting him so that at some point he will stop, and he's not working enough. And if that's the case, either he does it or he continues to play this way. We'll continue with your surgery.
Yes. He probably needs a lot of lessons on finishing. And if they can fix him, then they are good. As far as the attack is concerned, him with Douglas, what's his name? The guy with the Colombian.
Luis
Diaz. And with the likes of Jota, I think they are covered in attack. I think they should go for someone like Douglas Luiz for their midfield from Aston Villa, right? Get 2 solid players that know how to use the ball and have the energy to shield the defense. And I think they also should look beyond Virgil van Dijk as their centre back. Because I think that Van Dijk came with so much pomp and pageantry. There's been so much drama around Van Dijk that they will need someone to work with Konate for the future. Van Dijk is on the way down. So find a good, solid centre back, build with Konate. Perhaps move Trent into the midfield, get Douglas Luiz. Then Bradley is there. Bradley has a lot of potential for right back. Find one more midfielder. They'll compete definitely for the Premiership.
Do you have any surgical suggestion
for me? For me, I think the current squad that they have is decent. They just need to work on staying fit. There's been this over-reliance on Salah to score a goal. When your winger has been the one that has been putting in season after season the highest goals of the league, sometimes definitely the highest goal of the squad, it's a problem. It should be your number 9 that should be doing that, right? So I think the front three of Nunez, Jota, and Luiz is solid. For me, the one area of concern that I don't see a ready-made player to step in and cover is left back. We have this guy in Robertson that is approaching the twilight of his career. And of course, they have the other Tsimikas, but Tsimikas and Robertson are like night and day. They're not close to each other. So that would be
True.
That would be the one part that I would look at. unfortunately, there really isn't anyone that I can think of right now that is currently going to be available that I can say would probably slot into that position. We also have to remember one thing: EPL is quite possibly the toughest league in the five majors. That's why a lot of these guys they moved to EPL. They were firing in their former leagues, but they moved to EPL and they're struggling. So when it comes to that position, I would probably want to stick with a player that is currently in the league. And I know Arsenal fans will not be happy about this, but Kyriel will be my guy to go for. Get him from Arsenal, put him in that Liverpool lineup. In the midfield, you were talking about someone that has the energy and can use the ball. Get me Conor Gallagher. That guy is a monster and he has tank for days. And I think those are the two places that I would look at for Liverpool.
Yeah, Conor Gallagher, his contract is almost up. So Conor Gallagher's contract is almost up as
I think he has 1 year left.
Yeah, there's reports that he's in advanced talks with Tottenham to seal the deal. So
yeah, I heard it. Fabrizio reported it sometime this week. For me, if you ask me to do that analysis for Liverpool, first of all, like I've been saying, they have gone from their philosophy. If you're getting a coach, we want to continue with what Klopp has built. What we're saying, maybe one of the reasons why Darwin Núñez is struggling is he's not the kind of striker Liverpool have used in their golden days, like Ugo mentioned. They had a Firmino who was more of a hold-up play that brings in the midfielders into play. If there's any player in Liverpool that has that, is Gakpo. Gakpo has more ability to hold the ball, bring other players into play. I don't know why Klopp refused to mold him into that man. Maybe because of the money they spent on Núñez, he wants to make Núñez the anchor man. But if you ask me, the way Liverpool have been playing before this season, Gakpo is the player that's supposed to be playing that anchor that attack. I can bring Salah into the game, bring the Luis Diaz or Jota or anybody on the wings into the game. So first of all, you have to sort out that. Are they changing the way they used to play to a striker that will run in behind defenders, which is what Darwin Núñez does. But when he does that, he's far away from Salah. Salah doesn't, the other players are not, if you see, most times when there's a counter, Darwin Núñez is far ahead of all Liverpool players because he has solid pace and he's strong. So they need to sort out that confusion. Are they going to play the way they used to play or now begin to put balls behind defenders? If that's the case, then they have to rework the entire front three. Then again, they say that defenses win you trophies. Liverpool back four was a monster of defense. They were defending and attacking you like their life depending on it. You mentioned the left back. That guy was flying front and back like he was using a jet. Robinson, yeah. Then Van Dijk, you mentioned, for me, Van Dijk is done in Liverpool. And the problem is not because he's finished as a player. That era, like you mentioned earlier on, I think they have gotten to their climax, they have achieved what they can achieve. I'll be looking towards, and this is the difference between City and all other teams in EPL. City would have started this thing we are doing now 2 years ago. Started to replace these players little by little and let the ones come into it little by little. But now Liverpool have left it, they need to replace 4 players.
No, but Liverpool has Kwanzaa, the centre back that has been playing in the absence of Konate, and he's quite solid.
The problem is that even Kanute has not been a consistent performer. Some games he's out of this world. All of a sudden he plays like Giroud that used to play for Arsenal. Or Giroud. So that's the problem. So they need to, like they need to find that anchor man in the defense. I don't think that Kanute after Van Dijk should lead their defense. No, he doesn't have it yet. It's not, and he's been there for like 3 or 4 years. So that defense is a problem. They really need to do something about their defense. They need to change, bring at least 2 solid defenders. Then find a defensive midfielder that can bring everybody, that can coordinate that midfield. That we mentioned earlier as well. That Endo, for me, doesn't cut it. And unfortunately, Endo is 30 years when they signed him. By next season, 31, 32. So he doesn't even have the energy anymore to do the business. So there's really a problem for Liverpool. And if you are going to poach any player from Arsenal, Kieran Tierney is on loan in this society. That is still an Arsenal player. So if I were Liverpool, instead of Kivior, I would go for Fiorentina. He's more of
He's more of a Liverpool type
a Robinson kind of mode
Sure.
than Kivior. Kivior is not that mobile. For me, Fiorentina works hard. He gets up and down the pitch very well. He puts in crosses if they want to continue the way Klopp set up the team. So that's what I would do for Liverpool. Unfortunately, this is a lot of work to do, and they've left it too late, you know. And so probably good luck for Arsenal if they continue what they're doing. Probably from next season, if Pep leaves, Arteta and Arsenal probably will be dominant for a few years before Liverpool and Man U and Arsenal and Chelsea will get themselves up to speed. Choma, sorry, I know. I thought you had your business today to do. We started a little bit earlier. We've done the Arsenal team. We're talking about Liverpool. We're about to move to Manchester United. I don't know what do you make of the Liverpool game today? We're talking about Liverpool. I'm sure you had your elation. You were happy when that result came in. Did you watch the game? What did you see in the game?
Yeah, funnily enough, I didn't really have the opportunity to catch all of the clues, you know, but I've heard everybody talk about Liverpool and everything, their Darwin Nunez issue. The thing is, Liverpool they've always been a team. I don't think they're flexible with the way they play with their strikers, by the way. They have always been known to focus on they build their team around the guy. That's what I think their problem is. They are not like Arsenal. You know the way Arsenal is wired. You can get your goals and have your guys legit about scoring. But we can see that they have a problem with, you know, Darwin because he breaks like a doll. Yeah. He's out most of the times. And when he comes back, it's more of a head game because he has more misses than he scores. Because they are struggling to just have that points man. Having a points man for Liverpool, I think those days are gone. Do you understand? Football is evolving, and the Premier League is not the same thing it is. These days, we have of Pep trying to convert back men, trying to make them trying to make them midfielders, trying to make them into goal scorers, and you're still trying to build your team, you know, around one man. So it's not going to work. And the Gakpo issue, Gakpo doesn't come side by side when it comes to Darwin because he doesn't have that speed. Okay, so that's why they are struggling. And when it comes to their DM, you know, you're saying Kieran is very traditional. And I don't think he's flexible. I love him, and I see where he can fit for Liverpool, but I'm not sure that's what they need at the moment, Shab, or what do I know? I'm just saying. They are not at that place where they need a traditional back person per se. They need someone who's flexible. You can be a bit of traditional and a bit of, you know, the 23 slash.
A hybrid.
Exactly. You need to be a hybrid because that's what it's selling now. That traditionally, you know, fashion player thing is not working. So not with Liverpool, you know, I just came here to actually put smiles on my face because Arsenal
yeah, you're late. We already cried the cry, and we have moved on. And
they literally said, "Choma, are you feeling well?"
Choma, after the show, I'll give you Shaba's number. Give him a call. Among all of us here, Arsenal fan, he's the only one that has given us something to cheer about. Even coming from a United fan, you need to hear him speak so that you can get yourself back to. He's saying that we don't have any cause for our land, but rather be proud of our team. And these things happen in football. So
I don't know what I feel like. NFF people were there, FA people, they were asking me, Choma, are you fine? Are you breathing? You know what it means? Everybody knew that my day was not made.
Yep.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's not only you, but
watching the game from a referee's phone, a referee that was off the line. He wasn't working on the sideline. That's how bad it was. I had to be watching with a referee that wasn't working. This game.
To be honest, the way that game was going, I had resigned. I taking off my expectation like after that 75th minute because you were looking like one of those days. If you have watched EPL for some time, those days,
you can tell. You can
when you see some of those days, you will know. If you remember in the forum, at some point I stopped chatting. I just knew that the best that can happen in this game is a draw. I never saw him anymore because he looked like one of those days. You know,
the moment they took out Odegaard,
I was hurt. A Liverpool fan was telling me that Ollie Watkins was going to score. And I was saying, no, dude, we're into the 80-something minutes. A Liverpool fan.
Yeah, it was really, let's say,